If you're stuck in a sex rut, it might seem impossible to get yourself unstuck, but it's not. So, you and I are going to walk through 6 things that you can do to get you and your partner out of a sex rut. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. How do you pull yourself out of a sex rut? Work on one issue at a time, then move on to the next one. So please listen to the following 6 ideas, pick one idea to implement, and then actually follow through. Your sex life can only become interesting if you put in the time, effort, and the follow through. So, the first tip to help you get out of this sex rut might seem a little basic, yet the majority of couples do not do it, and that is communication. Communication is the key to a healthy, long lasting sex life together. When you aren't able to talk about sex, you probably are drifting apart and losing touch with what you both need and want in your sexual relationship. And although it is really challenging to talk about our sex in an assertive and proactive way, it is so important to address your concerns about the lack of sex and what you need and want from your partner. Walk into this conversation and lean into the awkwardness because inevitably it's going to be hard at first to talk about your sexual difficulties. Yet, the more you talk about it and get over the awkwardness, the easier it's going to become. And here's a great idea to start a really easy conversation with your partner. Letting your partner know that you're thinking of them during the day is going to go such a long way. And it doesn't have to take a lot of time. You can just send them a quick text with, I love you, and a little emoji. So, my second idea, no one's going to like this idea. I can already see it in the comments below, but the second idea is to schedule sex. It is a myth that sex is spontaneous. I don't believe any sex is ever spontaneous. And especially when you have a busy life and kids and you've got a lot of stress going on, it's really hard to find the energy to initiate sex. Especially for women, when you schedule a date night with sex included, you can start mentally preparing and anticipating that sex to happen. So, just like when we were dating and we were anticipating sex, we were doing a lot of things to get ourselves in the mood. And when you schedule sex, you're able to wrap your mind around that it's going to happen and you can start building up your arousal. So, the bottom line is if sex has not happened for a long time, you and your partner need to schedule it. And if you're stressed and don't want to do that, remember, sex is an amazing stress reliever. The third idea is to be creative. A lot of times when we're in a sex rut, we're having the same sex over and over again, and it's usually orgasm focused sex. And that's good once in a while, but you really need to open this up to different types of sex, bringing different ideas in. But the problem is sometimes our partners are afraid to tell us what they want because they're worried we're not going to like it or we're going to get mad at them. This could be something as simple as you both write a list of 10 things you both want to try and you exchange the list and you see what that looks like and you both can agree to try at least one thing on the list. That's really easy to do. It's creative and all of a sudden your sexual experience opens up. Number 4 is mostly for women, and that is to focus on your pleasure. Women, we tend to live in our heads and we have a delayed sexual response. And it's very difficult for us to move from our heads into our bodies and focus on our pleasure and the arousal of our bodies. And when you find something on your body that brings you big pleasure, your partner wants to know. So please tell them. And then you can expand from there. Number 5 is to be playful. When we're in a sex rut or just sex in general, sex became so serious for some reason, and sex is meant to be fun. So don't be afraid to bring in new ideas, to spice it up, to make things between you less serious and way more playful. There are so many sex games out on the market that can inject a whole lot of fun into your relationship. Can you imagine having sex where the two of you are laughing and giggling? I mean, that's what we're all looking for, and that's going to jet you out of your sex rut. And number 6, if you are really sincere about getting out of your sex rut, you need to take a risk and become vulnerable with each other. Toe curling sex comes from when we are vulnerable with each other. It's normal for every single relationship to experience a lull in sex. When you do inevitably get stuck in a sex rut, please remember this quote from Esther Perel, who said, "When we're stuck in a sexual rut, we focus too much on the problems and not enough on the possibilities. Please, after watching this video, implement one thing from this list of 6 and focus on that possibility." Is good sex on your mind, but not in your bedroom? Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, like, and leave a comment. Thank you so much for helping to grow my channel. Go to trinareid.com and get your free copy of the Sex Bootcamp Masterclass. Listen and subscribe to my weekly Sensational Sex podcast, and check out my award-winning self-help fiction, The Sex Course, that went to #1 in its Amazon category 3 days after launch. Both the Sex Course and the Sex Bootcamp are available in audiobooks. Getting out of your sex rut is absolutely doable, and it all starts at trinareid.com.